Hey everyone, I'm Cynthia and welcome again to the best women's boxing show, period. My co-host, Jeandra LaBeouf. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to take that. Go ahead.
That's okay. We all family here. I'm Jeandra LaBeouf, of course, in the studio with my girl, Cynthia Conti. We can't say our names today. Can't say our names. But anyway, I'm in the studio with my girl, Cynthia Conti, and we have a very, very special guest with us today.
Absolutely, Mr. Sweet Hands, Caleb Plant himself. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Oh, Caleb, you know, you're one of our, we just launched this episode or this podcast with a new title, so you are like one of the very, very first guests.
Exactly.
Don't get scared of the title. Don't get scared of the title because it's not a women's boxing show only. We do not discriminate.
That's right. Okay, I know what I want to lead off with. I must know, and we've talked about this before, I love me some Nipsy Hussle too. I'm from Los Angeles, born and raised. We know we got the dog Nipsey. We know that is a very, very influential artist in the Plant household. How did the beginning with Nipsey Hussle start, and why does that artist in particular resonate so deeply with you?
Well, you know, I've been listening to Nipsey for a long time. You know, I know he's blown up recently and, you know, become, you know, worldwide, but, you know, I've been listening to for him for a long time, and, you know, I just like how he moves. I like how he carries himself, you know, in his craft and outside, you know, whether it's investing in real estate or, you know, his lyrics or whatever it may be. You know, I just like the things that he has to say, and, you know, I can appreciate it.
What is the part of Caleb Plant do you feel that has the most in common with Nipsey Hussle and what he was doing in his life?
You know, he can definitely talk that shit, but at the same time, you know, he's no dummy. You know, he knows how to move, he knows how to talk, and you know, regardless of what room he's in, you know, he can play the part and do what he's got to do to, you know, make things happen. So.
Can you spit a hot 16?
No. Don't do that to me.
No, definitely not.
You never know. You just give it some time, then he will.
Okay, we know a few other boxers.
A lot of people come and they're like, we're not going to do anything. And then by the end of the show, they do their thing. Mm-hmm. Don't say never.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I love how you just went off and, because you asked me, and I'm like, I don't know. I always see you and Jordan, your wife, Jordan Plant. She's a Fox broadcaster, if you guys don't know by now. But you guys are always, I think it was, you guys always talk about Nipsey Hussle, and I never understood the correlation of why. Because a lot of people always have some kind of connection to something, and she was asking me, I'm like, I don't know, ask.
Yeah, get it straight from the source.
Yeah, definitely. He just, like I said, it seems like he's, you know, had his head on straight and knew where he was from, knew where he was headed, and had a plan laid out and mapped out. And, you know, I'm kind of on that same thing. I got some of those same things going on, so I felt like I could resonate with that.
Absolutely.
Since if you were able to have a conversation with him right here, what would the questions be to ask him?
Top 3.
Yeah.
Top 3, just, you know, how he goes about maybe partnering with brands. You know, some of how he, what catches his eye maybe when it comes to commercial real estate, what makes him interested in a certain piece of land or, you know, a certain building. And, when's the next album dropping? Probably.
For sure.
You know, I think that's what a lot of people don't see that about you, Caleb, is that they see just the boxer. Mm-hmm. Like, this guy, he just wants to box. He wants to box the best people. But when I look into your social media and when I hear you and Jordan talk, really, it's actually just your social media. I think he posted something the other day. I'm doing something, watch out, 365 days, you'll know. And I'm thinking, has to be real estate. It has to be something you're investing, maybe crypto, something, but you're turning your money into something for more generational wealth. That's what I believe. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. Even before like this last fight, you know, since basically 2019, since I became world champion, you know, grabbing just pieces of real estate, grabbing rental properties. You know, we're heavily invested in stocks. I mean, heavily invested.
Really?
And looking to add, you know, more rental properties to our, you know, portfolio, and, you know, looking to get into some multifamily units as well. And
are you just here in Vegas or around in the States or Tennessee? Where?
Right now, we're just trying to build what we got in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Right now, it's more of a seller's market than a buyer's market.
Absolutely.
But, you know, we just got into a new house. We took our last house and sold it, and, you know, now we've gotten a couple rental properties off of it.
Okay.
And just looking to add add to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, when you look, with it's being heavily involved in the stock market, when you think of when you first started and where you are now, what do you think was the top mistake that you made that maybe people listening can learn from when you're getting ready? Because everyone thinks, oh, I can just buy a couple things on Robinhood. I'm going to be rich.
The biggest thing we would probably be like if you go to buy a rental, unless you get a really good deal, maybe not paying for it in cash, but, putting the minimum down and then using somebody else's money to, pay off that mortgage. And then, you add a little bit on to make some profit, but, using other people's money to, build your real estate portfolio.
If I want to pull up my Robinhood right now, what should I buy a couple shares of?
As far as stocks go, well, we have a good team in place, Mike Alvini, who works with some other boxers as well, and Aronson Hardy, who's our financial planner. And, we really let them deal with the stock. Stocks is not really, that's not something I'm up to date on as much as like I like real estate. And so, we trust in those guys and they're good people. We know them personally. And so, we really leave it up to them to, as far as the stock goes, because, things change on a daily basis. And, I'm trying to stay focused on my boxing as opposed to like getting a real estate and then, getting a property manager for them to take care of all the, collecting the checks and checking in and seeing how the property's doing. And now I don't have to really worry about anything. I can just stay focused on training and stuff like that.
I wish more fighters were like you that
For sure.
had their heads on straight and use your money and put it towards something that's going to last for your kids and their grandkids, just generations on, instead of just buying jewelry and then that's it and just going to the club and spoiling everyone.
Yeah,
But you got to spoil your own family, your own self.
Yeah, definitely. And, honestly, this has been my plan since a kid, it's never been to just spend up all my money. And, I have nice things. People know I got a couple old school cars that are really nice. And, I got a couple nice watches. But, after that, how much more can you get? And, I'm trying to, these young fighters that are coming up, I want to keep talking about it that way that, I can maybe point them in the right direction and they can get influenced by me as opposed to, spending up all their money on things that hold no value. And maybe you can get those things, but maybe it's more on the back end, when you're older and you have, that passive income, up to where you want it.
How's life been after that Canelo fight?
I mean, it's been good. Like I said, we just got into a new house, and so, feeling good about that. But, it wasn't the outcome we wanted. So I didn't show up to do good. I didn't show up to put on a good fight. I was showing up to win. Yeah. And so I'm disappointed with the outcome, regardless of how good I did or, what people think I did. It wasn't, my expectations were to win, and I was coming to win, and I trained to win. So I'm disappointed with how it turned out, but, it's just experience that I can, move forward with and put into some of these other big fights.
Have you watched the fight?
Yeah, a lot.
And did you see a lot of the things that you need to work on, or did you see anything from him that be like, damn, he was better than I thought in that, or I thought he was better doing that, but he didn't?
Well, I know the things that I have to work on. I know that there's things that I could have done better. There's things that, I normally could do, but, you also have someone at a high level across from you who are taking some of those things away that maybe other fighters can't take away. And, just the whole, it was the crowd wasn't on my side, there's about 18,000 people and maybe 500 of them were rooting for me. So, hostile territory, that was a good experience as well. And, I feel like I'm even more confident moving forward. I show that I can perform on, the highest level, the highest stage, the most hostile territory, and still keep my cool and put on a great fight. So now I'm just ready to move forward with, the best possible fights I can get. I know I got to work my way back. I'm not going to be able to just jump right into a world title fight. I know I got to climb my way back, but I'm prepared for that.
What was interesting to me is fighters amongst themselves. We have fighters, some are lone wolves, some fighters like to click together. And when the announcement of the fight came, there's always fighters themselves. Fans are going to say whatever they want to say. But then you have other fighters who are just like, why is not me getting that opportunity? And so they start to question, fighters and their abilities. And you look at the respect level of your peers. How has the respect level of your peers changed before that fight and now after that fight? What do you think is the difference among your peers? Not necessarily even in your weight division, but just amongst boxers, period.
I mean, honestly, I couldn't tell you. I don't really hang out with a lot of fighters. I don't really hang out with too many people in general. I'm really just year round. I'm in the gym focused. I'm with my wife. I have just a handful of friends. And so I'm not really sure, and hopefully the word on the street is good. But if not, you know, I'm not really concerned with what people, whether they're in boxing or out of boxing, concerned with me. I'm just focused on, you know, putting my best foot forward, correcting the things that I know I can get better at, and, you know, looking to step back in there in the biggest fight possible as soon as possible.
How did that fight transform you as a man? Because like you said, there were a lot of factors against you, hostile territory, the more boos and cheers. No matter what the outcome was going to be, it was going to be that regardless. So how does that help you to evolve as a man?
Well, I think I was prepared for those things as a man already, but you know, like I said, just as a fighter, being able to take that experience with me, that's stuff that you can't buy. And so I'm excited that I was put in that position. And, you know, with only, you know, I have 22 fights now, so I feel like I have less fights than any other top super middleweight, you know. And but I feel like that I'm in a great spot. There's plenty of other big fights to be made. And so now I'm just, you know, sharpening my tools and waiting on my name to be called. And when it is, I'll be ready.
All right. Well, then we're just going to get to it because I have been seeing on Twitter that you put the cap logo, the cap avatar. Can you just tell us, clarify, was there an actual contract sent to you? Was there anything specific, any talks between you and David Benavidez for a fight to supposedly happen in September 2022? Yes? No?
No, there was nothing sent our way. You know, David, he has, along with myself, we both have Al Heyman as an advisor, and there's nobody better as an advisor than Al Heyman. We both are managed by Luis de Cubas, and there's no manager better than Luis de Cubas. And then he also has Samson as a promoter. So you have all these high-level guys in your corner that can make these negotiations for you, but you think that his dad is the one calling the shots? And,
is it his dad making the shot? I don't know.
No, I'm saying they're saying that he was the one to send the negotiation, but why would his dad be sending that when he has all those high
you guys
level?
Basically, your same team. Almost.
Yeah, he has all these high level people in his corner that could be doing that for him, but y'all believe that it's his dad who's making those calls. I mean, that's a joke. You know what I'm saying? And then besides that, it's like he's in what's his next? Who's his next fight? David Lemieux, right?
David Lemieux.
And what type of fight is that? You know what type of fight that is?
What do you mean?
Break it down for us.
Title eliminator.
Oh,
right?
it's a title eliminator. Yeah.
So what does that mean?
So whoever wins, I think, fights Canelo, I believe, or
could possibly
yeah,
in the
possibly
could be in the sweepstakes.
Possibly.
Yeah. So if he wins this fight and then he has the fight with Canelo next, which is what he's been crying for, then why would he be fighting me next?
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Well, there's a lot of people out there who didn't.
Because I see it, I read it, and I'm just like, all I see is the hat, and I was like,
that's
what's
because
the hat
people
mean?
read it
I'm
and
like,
they
what's
see
that?
it, and then they get caught up with just what's being said in the moment, and they're not thinking about the big picture. If he's able to fight Canelo next, why would he fight me next? I have no title. You know, I would love that fight next, but if we're being realistic, so their team, you know, or his dad, they didn't send anything to Luis. They didn't send anything to Al. You know, the fight that he has now, that's been signed since a month after my fight with Canelo. And, you know, it's a title eliminator fight. So he wouldn't even be looking to fight me next. But, hey, I would love to make that happen. We can make that happen. And I'm not hard to make a fight with. I've done fought you know, he's obviously the best in the division at the moment, Canelo, and he has all the belts. And, you know, if I'm going to step in the ring with him, then who wouldn't I step in the ring with?
Right.
Well, we just read that. Is it true, Anthony Derail? Is that the fight that's next for you?
That's on the table, but, you know, nothing's locked in, nothing's for sure. But, you know, I'm looking to hopefully get a fight as soon as possible, and then, you know, we can make a fight happen after that. But
why not Andrade? He's like the boogeyman. Everyone doesn't want to fight him at middleweight. He was a belt holder. He's moving up in weight. Why not throw your name in the hat for him?
We can make that happen as well. Like I said, I know that I got to work my way up to some of these, you know, these guys who are the big names in the division. And I know that I may not get a crack at that right off the bat. But like I said, I'm looking to get one of those fights as soon as possible. But if I have to, you know, take a couple fights to get there, then I'll take whatever road I got to take. But I'm looking to make the biggest fights happen. And I'm looking to make them happen as soon as possible. So whether that's David, whether that's Charlo, whether it's Andrade or whoever, I'm willing and wanting to fight all those guys.
You know, like you mentioned, you're not a guy who's out there in the streets. You keep to yourself. You're with your family. You have a small circle of friends. You and Benavidez have the same manager, same advisor. where is the source? Where does this animus really come from? Because there are no other fighters out there who are just like, I can't stand this mofo, you know, blah, blah, blah. But there is this deep-rooted animus that's existed for quite a while.
Is it real? Is the animosity between you and David real?
It feels real.
It feels real.
I'm not an actor.
Okay. Why do you hate him? Why do you not like him?
Well, for one, because his dad is always lying, like saying stuff like they sent a contract and sending a... His dad's not calling the shots. His dad's not doing anything for him. It's either Al, Samson, or Luis, more than likely all three. So it's not his dad calling any shots. And two, it just seems like, you know, there's videos on YouTube of his dad talking about my daughter, who's no longer here.
Oh, that's no-no.
That's a no-no.
That's a no-no.
One, you seen what happened with Masvidal and Colby Covington.
Yes.
Because he's talking about his wife and his family. Well, what about a kid who's not even here anymore?
Yep.
So when you start talking about my daughter, that's a whole different level.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just like they try to pull up, or they was already training in the gym that I was training at.
Yeah.
And then they try to walk over like 5 deep. And, you know, his dad had his phone out recording the whole thing. And, you know, what boxing coach does that? Name a top tier boxing coach who would be in a situation like that.
Right.
And then they thought, but he wanted to film it because he thought they was going to walk over there and punk me. And, you know, Jose Jr., he wound up getting smacked in his face. And then they turn and try to get off on my boxing coach. And they don't even walk towards me or try to do anything towards me. And I start walking towards them and they just keep backing up. And so it's just things like that, just little things that add up over time, you know, talking about my daughter and trying to think you're going to punk me. And, you know, just, I don't stand for stuff like that. I'm not going to be punked or bullied by anybody.
As you shouldn't.
So,
when kids are brought in the picture, that's a no-no.
You know, what decent human being, much less, you know, someone who calls himself a serious high-level boxing coach, would be trying to film things like that in the gym or talking about somebody's kid like that. So I don't respect that. I don't respect his team. I don't respect any of them. I don't respect any of them. That's some chump stuff.
Well, there we go. Now we actually got it from him why he does not like David.
I know. I mean, it's fascinating to see even this approach because I look at the history of them and how they came up. I look at your history of how you come up working hard. And it seems like it should just be focused on that. You know, there are some fighters out there who like to do the trash talk. That's not you. That's not even David.
No, we can talk that shit, but when men go off to war, they leave women and children at home. That's what it boils down to. So if you want to say something about me, say something about me. If you want to say something about my dad, say something about my dad. But when you start talking about women and children, that's different. And I don't put up with it.
Amen. So in this situation now, there's a lot of names, there's a lot of action that's happening around your name. What is an ideal situation for you? I know there's so much that you can say. Like you said, the Derail fight is something that's on the table. In your mind, what is the ideal situation for you? If you could map out your next, say, 2-3 fights to work back up to that point, like you mentioned before, what would the ideal road look like?
I mean, the ideal road for me would be to just give the biggest and best possible fight that I can coming right back. And right after that, either David Benavidez or Charlo, whichever one is willing to step to the plate. And, you know, that's what I want.
Would you move down in weight? Would you ever move down in weight or maybe up? I mean, up is a little hard, but would you move different weight classes?
I feel like, I mean, if the right fight was, you know, on the table for that and I felt like that it was, you know, right for me, then I would. But, you know, I'm a top tier super middleweight, and that's where I've planted my flag, and that's where I've been at my whole career.
You have.
And so, you know, that's where I'm at.
Is it hard? Is it harder to go up and down? I think about when you talk about being super middleweight. I think about when Andre Ward fought Chad Dawson, and Chad Dawson came down, I think, to fight Andre Ward. And it was very, very tough for him. It was very depleting for him, made him very weak. So, as someone who lives their life in top shape, stays in shape, is constantly in the gym, what do you think would be a harder road to go down to say, not to say that you would do that, to go down to a 160 or to go up to a 172?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Right now I'm focused on being the best super middleweight that I can. So, you know, if a big fight approaches itself and it's right for me, then we'll take it from there. But other than that, there's plenty of big names in the super middleweight division. There's plenty of fights that can be made. And so, you know, I feel like that I should just stay focused on that.
This is what you wanted ever since you were a kid. Like what you've basically manifested it. You've worked your ass off for it. 8 years old, you started boxing. Did you ever see your life? Did you ever think that winning a world title, was it like not that long ago, maybe 2019? Yeah, 2000. I remember it was such a special night. You proposed to Jordan that night. You knocked out hold on. Don't. I'm like, not Uzbekistan.
Truex?
No. I know this name because I had to keep saying his name. There you go. I'm like, Uzbekistan. And I remember I interviewed you for Ring, and the one thing I asked you, I go, what would be the message for your daughter now? I'm going to cry because I remember what you said, and I think about it all the time. And you wanted, oh my God.
Don't cry. We're not supposed to cry.
I'm not. You're supposed to cry. But I thought winning the title for her was something so special. That was the one thing that you wanted to do. And now, what's the one gift that you want to give back to Aaliyah again?
I mean, you know, just so many times that she was in the hospital and just, you know, sitting with her, rocking with her, and just telling her what I was going to do, what I was going to accomplish, and, you know, winning that world title for her. And, you know, I did that. But, you know, there's a lot more that I want to accomplish. And, you know, I've said this many times before, it was a goal to become a world champion, but not the goal. You know, the goal is to become, you know, one of the greatest of this generation and one of the greatest of all time. So there's plenty more I want to accomplish, not just for her, but, you know, most importantly, I got to do it for myself.
Yeah.
And so just remaining focused and making the biggest fights happen, and, you know, just making sure that I carry myself in a way that when I got to hang up those gloves, that, you know, I don't have any regrets. And I know that I put it all on the line. I know that I was a true warrior. And, you know, if I do that, you know, that's what I'll be happy with that.
Well, as you mentioned, you said you've planted your flag at super middleweight, and that is the division that you've mastered throughout your career. So in a scenario where you become an undisputed champion at super middleweight, do you retire and walk away? Is that the end of the road, if that is the goal that you're able to accomplish during your career?
I mean, it just, you know, there's so many variables. If it was a situation where I had my comeback fight and then I fought David or Charlo and then beat the other one after that, and then I had a rematch with Canelo and won it, you know, 2 years from now, then I'm not retiring 2 years from now or 3 years from now, or whatever the situation is. You know, I'm going to continue on. So, I'm not even thinking about retiring. I'm not, those are nowhere, that's nowhere in my plans, you know, as of now. Right now, I'm just, you know, one step at a time, one goal at a time. I got my long-term goals, I got my short-term goals, but retirement is not even like a thing for me.
Because some people say, I'm only going to box like 5 more years, or, you know, at a certain age, like you put a limit on yourself. I didn't know if you said, okay, I want to do this. Do you, in that whole time, have you and Jordan ever talked about having kids? I've already asked Jordan when I had my daughter, my son, I was like, what about you? He's like, no, not yet. But have you guys talked about, I know they got the doggy.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we want, it's something we're going to do. So
would you want them to box? Boy or girl?
I mean, if it's something that they pick up and they want to do, then I'm gonna be there to support them, and I'm gonna push them. And if it's something that they really want, and they say that that's what they really want, they better be careful, because once they make that decision, you know, I'm gonna help them stay on it. And but regardless of what they want to do, regardless of what they want to be, you know, I'm gonna be there to support that and to, you know, nourish that as much as I can and push them in that direction. So,
what kind of fighter dad do you think you would be? Because we see historically lots of combinations with father-sons combinations, who we just finished talking about, to Floyd, to Shane Mosley, to
me,
to you.
Your father, he was a
he was a kickboxer.
Kickboxer, yeah.
What type of father trainer do you think you would be, and what do you think is the pros and the pros and the cons?
Pros and the cons
of having your father be the principal voice in your corner.
Well, you know, there's a lot of boxing dads out there that are always trying to be like the center of attention and, you know, kind of be that front guy. And, you know, I've been blessed to have a father who doesn't really do that. He makes it about me. He's never been one to, you know, be too, like, not want to listen to what everyone else has to say, you know. Regardless of who it is, if it's a good idea, we're going to steal it and we're going to run off with it. So, you know, but as far as what type of father I'd be, as far as a coach, I'd probably be like my dad, and that's just one who is not easy on me. You know, my dad was really hard on me. I mean, strict, mean, and you know, but I'm grateful for that, you know, for somebody to believe in me. You know, before you guys believed in me, before I had fans, he was the first person to believe in me. He was the first person to say, you know, I'm going to be a world champion, and, you know, there's no one out there can stop me, or, you know, there's nothing that they can do to us, or, you know, stuff like that. But he was hard on me, man. I mean, ridiculously hard. If I at least little thing, he'll just put me in push-up position and just leave me there and
Wow.
come back. If I'm not up in push-up position, it's an ass whooping.
You're gonna wish you was.
I'm gonna wish I was, yeah. So I appreciate him being so hard on me and pushing me so hard because, you know, that's what it takes. You know, if you really want something, that's what it takes. It takes everything that you have. And, you know, it'd be things like I'd go to a tournament, and because I did good last year, I'd be the number 1 seed and get a bye. And he'd go to the commission the night before and pull me as the first seed and put me as the last until the commission, if my son wants to win this tournament, he don't get a bye. He's got to fight every day. You know, just thinking, I'd be like, come on, man, let me get a, you know, at the time it was like, man, why can't I get a bye? But, you know, him doing things like that to me so young and so early. And, you know, my second fight, I fought a national champion. My third fight, I fought a multi-time national champion. And, you know, just sticking my hand in the fire so early and making me, you know, keep it there. I feel like it really gave me the experience and the edge that I needed to, you know, on the back end now as a professional, you know, put me in the spot that I want.
Did you ever kickbox?
Yeah. I had 5 world titles and 9 national titles in kickboxing. Kickboxed with Team USA in Italy, Trinidad. I was like the first 16-year-old to ever win an adult national title and the first 17-year-old to ever win an adult world title.
How come I've never seen footage of this? Is there footage of
Can
you?
you send us some?
I don't know. I've never
it might be on
seen.
YouTube.
No one has ever. I've never heard this talked about that you were a former kickboxer, a former champion at best.
At that.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Decorated.
Very decorated.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It might be on YouTube somewhere, but
We finding it.
Yeah.
Producer.
I know. Be like, this is the real Caleb Plant before he was Sweet Hands.
That's right. Sweet feet.
How'd you get that name, Sweet Hands?
You know, it's really not even a nickname that I really like. Honestly, I don't
Really?
feel like it fits my personality.
Who
It doesn't
gave it
fit
to you?
my demeanor or anything. But just at the Golden Glove Regionals, you know, when I first came on the scene, they were like, "Man, who's this white kid right here? He's got some sweet hands. He's got some sweet hands. Who's this white kid?" And you know, it just kind of stuck after that. And you know, I feel like you're not really supposed to give yourself your nickname. You know, for better or worse, it's, you know, if they give it to you, then that's what it is, and that's what people started calling me. And so,
What would if you were to choose your own name? What do you think what would you want it to be?
Big pimpin'.
honestly, I probably just wouldn't even have a ring name. You know, when I have no persona, I don't walk around with the persona. I don't, you know, I'm Caleb. And so when that bell rings, that's who's in there is Caleb. It's not Sweet Hands. It's not, you know, that's just something that somebody gave me and it stuck around. But if it was up to me, I mean, I guess it is up to me, but, you know, if I had to pick it, I wouldn't even have no ring name and just be Caleb Plant there.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Well, I'm a big admirer of your shoe game, your sneaker game, the card game. What are, for those sneakerheads that are watching this show, what are the 3 most expensive sneakers you have and how much did you pay for them?
I got a pair of 86 Jordans, the rehab shoe, like Jordan broke his foot, and so Nike created him a rehab shoe that had like a strap around the ankle to give him a little more support when he came back. I got a pair of those.
Do you wear them, or do you just keep them in the box?
I wear them.
Oh, okay, good.
Because you could whip somebody's ass if they try to take their shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And let's see, what else?
Because y'all have some nice ones.
Yeah, honestly,
y'all have some nice ones.
All of them are like, or most all of them are like pretty top notch, you know. So, but those probably like my biggest grail, honestly, would be those 86 Jordans.
So when you first made, whenever in your career, when you first made your first big bag, what was the most expensive? What was the first expensive thing you bought for yourself, and why did you buy that thing in particular?
The first thing I bought was a Mercedes S550.
Oh, okay.
And that had just been one of my dream cars that, you know, coming up I wanted, and then right after that I just bought a house.
Okay.
Trying to make sure, you know, get some equity or put myself in a position where I can build off that and be able to make moves off that. But yeah, that Mercedes Benz and the house.
I saw that you got a 64 Impala.
That thing is sweet.
Oh,
Yeah,
your old cars are sexy.
Yeah, I got a 64 Impala, and then I got a 1972 Chevelle Super Sport.
Woo!
And so those are my baby.
We have our one of our camera guys is over here. I love when you and Jordan are shooting. I think she does it with her phone. When you guys are shooting, when you're driving on the strip and you're in the bomb car and the hair blowing, you know, you guys got to make some content like that.
You did some content. I think it was at Chick-fil-A or something with your Impala. I can't remember, but I was like,
Sponsor us.
Oh yeah.
That was a sexy shoot. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
We'll just pull up somewhere and order food and just like eat it on the back of the Impala or something like that.
Do people just sit there and gawk at your card like, can I take a picture with it?
I mean, because y'all look sexy. They are some
it's
sexy shots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
I mean, it gets quite a bit of looks, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like on a busy weekend, like on the strip. It's
You let Jordan
like
drive him?
yeah, she can drive.
Oh, okay.
She knows what's up. She knows how to drive. So
Because usually the women, the ladies cannot touch the babies.
I mean,
cool.
it's not really how we operate. You know, we're friends too. You feel me? So it's not like it's in good hands if she's driving. She's not going.
See, before you were married, you guys are best friends. I mean, you still are best friends, but you guys are very competitive because she's also an athlete. How competitive does it get in the Plant household?
Yeah. You guys are always in your gym.
We've had some like some actual arguments. Really, like
Really?
Yeah, just on like who's better or who can do this better. She's a Division I 100-meter hurdler, so she's a big time athlete, and so.
Can she run faster than you? Or can you, have you guys tried sprinting against it?
I'll trip her ass. No, but she's quick. In her heyday, she probably would have beat me, but not no more.
No more.
We're going to take the camera
Who's a
out.
better cook?
She can have it. she can cook everything. She's a great cook. She knows how to cook. I mean, anything. She can make everything.
Can
so.
you? Do you know how to cook?
No,
No?
I can't cook anything. I don't know how to cook. Yeah.
Not. You don't know how to even make an egg.
He
Warm
make
up some
reservations.
There you go.
You make
Waffles?
reservations.
Warm up some waffles. Yeah, that's about it.
Who does the dog love more?
Oh.
It's about equal. He's a big baby when it comes to both of us. So
You're gonna add more to the family?
Of dogs.
Dogs.
yeah, we got a new dog coming like late April or something like that, and another dog. So.
Same kind, same breed, Frenchie.
It's like a Labradoodle or something like that.
Oh, those are cute. Good for they're non-allergenic, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, I miss them. I used to have a little pug named Mike Tyson, so I love the flat noses. How does Nipsey deal with the heat with the flat nose?
He's good.
Is he?
Yeah, he's an athlete. He runs and jumps and plays, does everything. Yeah.
What is going to be the next old school car to
Yeah.
join the family?
Well, right now we're out of garage space, so we gotta. But I don't know, maybe like a '57 Chevy Bel Air or maybe some type of muscle car or something like that.
Have you raced him yet? Has anyone tried to ever race you on the road?
Like fast cars, like the Impala is not really a fast car, it's just something you cruising. So for some reason, like Challengers and other stuff like that, when they see me, they want to show me how fast that their car can drive. But that the Chevelle, it's like it does donuts. It can drive. So a couple people, try to put the gas on me. So put it right back. I got the new 2022 S580 though. It's like the newer S550.
Ooh.
That thing is quick. So
Is it?
Okay,
that's a couple people on that one.
I have your Instagram up on my computer, but I can't see the captions because I'm not logged in.
What is that?
What's up with this right here? We're gonna
Is that a goat?
It's a Billy Goat.
Oh, it is a billy goat.
tell us about the Billy Goat because I can't read the captions.
Nothing important.
What's something that people don't know about you, Caleb, that you can spill the beans?
I don't even know, honestly. I'm probably pretty reserved, so I just.
Do you watch
chilling.
other sports?
No, I just study boxing like all day long. That's all.
Really?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I watch a lot of films, so.
What's the last thing that made you laugh?
Probably. I couldn't even tell you that either. I don't really know. I don't even know.
What's the last thing that made you cry?
She's getting way too deep. What's going on here?
This is a safe space.
Do you and Jordan watch movies that might make you cry, like rom-coms?
I've never heard of that. No, I don't really watch movies like that. Usually like action and killing and blood and stuff like that. But I ain't about to get too deep on y'all, so.
No, it's all right. Pull up the ratings in your division, and then if you could just say one word about them that describes them in one word. Okay?
Run it.
Canelo.
Undisputed.
David Benavidez.
Bitch.
Caleb Plant. It's hard, huh? When you have to say it about yourself.
We trying to Jedi mind trick you here today.
Next.
Billy Joe Saunders.
former world champion. I don't know. I don't really.
I would like to see you fight him. That would be if he fights ever. Anthony Derail,
Clown.
John Ryder,
Sturdy.
David Lemieux,
Washed.
Fedor Chudinov,
I don't know. I don't know him.
Christian Mabili. I don't even know how to say his name.
I'm probably
He's
not going to
from
know.
France.
I don't know.
Zach Parker,
I don't know.
LaRon Richards.
I don't know.
So in the studying of fighters, since you consume it as a fan and as an athlete, what fighting style do you like to watch? Like, what's appealing? It doesn't have to be a current fighter, but what's a fight style that the fan in you appreciates every time you see it?
Just a specific fight that I like to watch.
Sure.
I really like Iran Barkley versus James Toney.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's a vicious ass whooping. So, I like Bernard Hopkins versus Kelly Pavlik. I like Bernard Hopkins versus Tito Trinidad. Those are some of my favorites. Floyd versus when he had on the pink and white ostrich skin. The boy's name. I can't remember, but I watch that fight like all the time.
Do you?
But I watch a lot of fights, not just people who fight like me or, I'm always trying to round the edges off, in my style and in my fight game. So sometimes I may be me focusing on a guy who doesn't fight like me so that I can, steal things from what he's doing and add them to my belt as well. So, I watch all different types of fights, all different types of styles. There's always things that I'm trying to add to my style and add to my game. Whether they fight like me or don't fight like me, the goal is to be, a complete boxer, which is a never-ending goal. So, I'm always trying to add new things.
What did little Caleb like to watch? What fights did young Caleb like to watch?
Roy Jones, Floyd, Terry Norris, Simon Brown, Hector Camacho, Sugar Ray Leonard, James Toney, Georgie Benton, all types of guys. Really.
You're like, have you ever thought what else you would want to be when you grow up if boxing was not ever in the cards?
No, honestly, since I was a kid, I just wanted to be a boxer, and I just knew that I wasn't going to be anything else, that I probably couldn't do anything else.
What was that pivotal moment when you said at that age, I want to be a boxer? What was it?
Probably just as soon as I started training, really, I just loved it. I loved going to the gym. There were things going on at home, and so when I went to the gym, I got to get away from those things. And from the time I got out of school to 10 o'clock at night, we would just be in the gym. And so, I've said this in other interviews, but it's I would go where I'm from and the things that we had or didn't have or things that was going on. It's I knew that nobody would want to be that kid or be in that position. But then I would go to the gym, and then at a young age, I was somebody who people wanted to be. And somebody who people looked up to, even people who were older than me, grown men, man, I wish I could be like that, or wish I could do that. And, it was for the time that I was in there, it was like a drug that I got to escape from where I was from and what was going on. And then you go home, and then the drug wears off, and you got to go back to reality. And it was just my escape for, those hours that I was in the gym. And I just got addicted to that, and being able to be somebody and be somebody who people want to be like, or I just came infatuated with that. And then I started studying all these guys and, what they were able to do. And I just had my mindset that no matter what came my way, no matter what happened in my life, that I was going to be that person.
Boxing has evolved and changed since you begun. You're not even an old man. You're still a young man. But there's so many advances, so many tools that you can help aid your training. What's something that you have now that you wish you would have had on the come up? Some people still do ice baths. Some people like cryogenic chambers and all those types of things. What's an advancement that you utilize now, that you wish, back then, if I had this, it would have helped me a lot?
Honestly, if your mentality's right, you really don't need a lot of that stuff, But if I had to choose, it's nice to have ice baths. It's nice to have supplements. It's nice to have, blood work done and things to, take to help areas that you're low in, or, there's just so, like you said, there's so many things but really, you don't need all the fancy stuff. You don't need all that. If you got your mind made up and you're willing to put the work in and you're willing to run those miles, you're willing to get up early and stay up late and study. You know, boxing's not, it's simple, but it ain't easy. You know, it's not rocket science. You know, do what you're supposed to do, be disciplined, don't let your weight blow up in between fights. You know, during camp, make sure you're abstinent, make sure you're doing, you know, you're around. I don't have no, I'm not in camp, but I got my water with me. You know, regardless of what's going on, just put it, you know, keep it in the forefront of your mind, and again, keep your goals in the forefront of your mind. Make sure you're doing everything. If it don't align with what you want to be or what you want to do, then it's not for you.
You have a strength and conditioning coach. Is it Larry Wade, right? Larry Wade. Some people have said strength and conditioning coaches, why have them as a boxer? It doesn't do anything. Because back in the day, they didn't have those. I just want your opinion on it. Does it help? I believe it, but I don't from your perspective.
No, I would say so, because the type of shape that you come into camp is important too. And so, but, you know, having a good or a bad strength and conditioning coach is kind of like having a good or bad boxing coach. If he's,
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? If he's not doing things the right way, then it's not going to work out good for you. So, you know, I'm not trying to become a football player. I'm not trying to see how many weights I can lift. You know, a lot of this stuff is functional strength and, you know, muscle conditioning. And he's also, he was the head or one of the head coaches or the head coach for UNLV as far as the track team goes. So, you know, the track workouts we do are second to none. Nobody else is doing the track workouts like we're doing. And, you know, if you look at the people that he's worked with, Sean Porter, Badu Jack, and, you know, he's got some other guys as well. But, you know, those are all top quality guys. And I feel like the proof is in the pudding. So that's something that I wanted to add to my team when I moved out here. And, you know, I like the way that we do things. I'm not, like I said, we're not trying to become a football player or see how strong we can
Or
do.
bodybuilder. Or anything,
Maybe that's the issue with some of the other strength and conditioning coaches. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to what they have going on. But, you know, for people who have negative things to say, that might be a reason. You know, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Do you do yoga? Like, what do you do on the after healing? Because it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of miles. It's a lot of functional strength, but you still have to have mobility, agility, and all those types of things. What do you do for that?
Well, in camp, you know, I have somebody who comes to all of my workouts, all of my track workouts. You know, we do things on Sundays. We do things on Fridays, and, you know, stretching and making sure I'm staying mobile. And then also I have a full-time chef who stays, you know, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, and everything in between that. Is not just there, you know, specifically there during camp, but also there before camp, during pre-camp and stuff like that, just to make sure that I'm, you know, just at my best when I'm coming into pre-camp and then in my full-fledged 8 weeks as well. So boxing is not something that is seasonal for me. It's not something I just do part-time, or this is like what I want to be and this is what I want to do. So anything that I can do to put myself in a better spot or a better position, you know, I'm going to spend the money regardless of what it is to make sure that I can be that.
Other than alcohol and drugs, what's the single worst thing an athlete can consume that's going to derail their conditioning? Is it sugar? Is it, you know, what's the worst thing that we should not be eating? We're trying to find out.
I mean, yeah, just, you know, making sure you're eating the right things and making sure you're keeping your fluids right and just being disciplined. You know, I think discipline is a talent that's overlooked in sports today. You know, it's easy to, when people think of talent, they think of speed and they think all these things, but discipline is the talent too.
Yeah.
And discipline is something that a lot of these boys lack.
That's true, because a lot of people are they're talented as a boxer that we know they can fight, but what they do outside of the ring, it's talent. It's part of your job.
And it's kind of like, you know, running on one of them wheels. It's like you're doing all these things, you know, you're training hard, but then you're messing it up right after. And then, you know, it's like you're running, but you're staying in the same spot. So that's something that my dad, like, instilled in me really early. And it's like, it's harder for me to not be disciplined than it is for me to be disciplined, you know, now. Just the way that he was on me and the things that he forced me to do and the ways that he forced me to be, it's just like, it's just come second nature to me now. And so, you know, that's something that I pride myself on, is discipline. And, you know, I feel like that's one of the bigger reasons that I'm in the position that I am today. You know, I'm talented, I'm fast, I'm athletic and all that stuff, but, you know, discipline is a big part of the reason that I'm here.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about all the men's boxing, but we got to ask you about some women boxing. Do you watch any of the fights, women fighters?
I watch some. Clarissa Shields.
Okay. Are you familiar with Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano?
I know who Katie Taylor is, and I know Amanda Serrano. I've seen a couple of her fights. I haven't seen too many Katie Taylor fights, but I know that she's a top dog in, you know, women's boxing.
That fight's going to happen April 30th, along with so many big other fights.
A lot of fights.
That day. How would that fight play out?
you know, I'm not familiar enough with either of them to make a, you know, a real assessment on that. So, you know, I don't want to speak on something that I'm not familiar with.
For what can you say about what women boxers, or not women boxers, excuse me, what women boxing is lacking? You're a fighter. A lot of people either talk about it or they don't talk about it. What is it lacking? What does women boxing need?
Maybe if there was more vicious knockouts, you know what I'm saying? And that's not, I'm not talking down on nobody,
Yeah.
but if the general question is why aren't people as, maybe it's the vicious knockouts, because, you know, when you're watching a guy fight, you know, they may have a vicious knockout or they may not. And then maybe people have this premeditated idea that, you know, watching a woman's fight, there may not be this vicious knockout, which is why I'm showing up anyways, because boxing has a lot of casual fans. And when casual fans tune in or show up to a fight, they're tuning in for two things. And that's the knockout and, you know, just to dress up for the occasion and go out and have a good time. And so, you know, maybe they feel like that they won't get that if they watch a woman's fight. I don't know. I can't speak on that because I'm not just a casual fan. You know, I love the art of boxing, the science of boxing as well. And so, but if I had to speak for somebody else, you know, maybe that's it. I don't know.
Okay, no, it's a fair assessment. I question everyone that what can be better about it? What can we do, or what can anyone do? Promoters do? What can anyone do in that realm?
You know, just keep, you know, giving them that spot and that limelight, and then leaving it up to them to put on great fights. And, you know, thus far, I feel like women's boxing is more popular than it's ever been.
Yeah.
People are tuning in, people are supporting, and, you know, I'm a supporter in women's boxing. I'm a supporter in boxing in general. So if you put the time in and you're dedicated and you're perfecting your craft and it shows when the bell rings, I'm going to be a fan of that. So.
I know people have kind of crossed over, since we know that you are a former kickboxer in your own right. Would you ever go into that field if it was a big fight, to go MMA fight against someone for like a one-off fight?
I would do that.
Really?
Yeah.
Who would you want to go against? Who would you want to fight?
I don't know. I haven't, you know, it's not like I have my eyes on somebody like,
because now we know that he's like a decorated kickboxer.
You legitimately could go over because you bring an additional skill set other than having sweet hands.
Yeah.
You have sweet feet too. Well, I'm going to start calling you sweet feet when I see you on Twitter. Okay, so to close out the show, Caleb's camera is there. We have a segment called Talk Your Shit, and we're going to run our timer for 30 seconds. So whatever you want to say to whomever you want to say it to, or to the world at large, Caleb Plump, go ahead, talk your shit.
So just appreciate all the fans, people supporting me, people not supporting me. You know, as of now, Canelo is saying whoever wants to fight me, they need to get to fighting each other. So that's my plan. And if that means I got to beat Derail or whoever's next, and then I got to beat Charlo, and then I got to beat David Benavidez, or vice versa, David next, and then Charlo or whoever, then I plan on cleaning out the rest of the division so I can get my rematch, because that's what I want.
That's right. Talk
There
your
you go.
shit.
I like the fact you wore a sweater or a shirt the other day. Said thank you for not believing in me, or something like that. And I was like, wow. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, fuck you all.
Yeah, big facts. You know, the people who told me that I'm from the country. You know, I'm from Tennessee, out in the woods. So, you know, for me to be here, you know, a lot of people have doubted me along the way. Like I said, when I first started, the only person who believed in me was Dad. So, you know, them people not believing me has been a big motivating factor just for me to show whoever that I can do this, and but most importantly, showing myself. So shout out to Mentality for the shirt, and we're actually doing a collab soon, so make sure you stay tuned.
Oh, okay. I like that. I thought that was actually your shirt, like one of yours with
No, that's Mentality,
your branding.
On IG, but we'll be doing a capsule soon probably, so stay tuned.
I love it. Shout out to Mentality, and shout out to Good Dad.
Yeah. Wow. Caleb Plant. Who knew? Like, you see that he's not just a boxer. He's a businessman, if y'all don't know it. But thank you, Caleb. I appreciate you coming on to our show. We got a glimpse of a little bit more of who you are. We got some shit talking. We now know the reason why you do not like David, which is totally fair.
I like the fact that you a kickboxer. That's hot.
We're gonna look for some footage. You are the CIA. You go deep digging.
If it's out there, I'm gonna find it. So we appreciate you, sir, for stopping, and
can't wait to see you in the ring again.
For sure.
And good luck to you.
Appreciate you guys.
All right.
For you girls.
Thank you. Well, you guys, this is our episode with Caleb Plant. Sweet hands, sweet feet. Oh, you never know. You could have a new name. You never know.
Sweet.
We're going to think of a new name. We're going to find a new name for you.
The Businessman.
Yeah.
Caleb the Businessman Plant.
All right, guys. Well, thank you again. And make sure you tune in to Caleb Plant and all of everything. If you want any of his business, or see, I'm thinking business advice. If you want to see any of his new cars, his new dogs, maybe are you gonna
drop?
Oh, it is what?
The new drop that's coming
yeah,
up
the
with
new
Mentality.
capsule.
Stay tuned for
Check
that.
out, what's your Instagram? So, I mean, people already follow you, but you never know.
Yeah, Caleb Plant, and just stay tuned. A lot of cool things on the horizon. A lot of big fights coming up, so stay on the lookout.
All right.
All right, guys. Thank you again for tuning in. I'm Cynthia Conte.
And I'm Jeandra LaBeouf.
Thank you for tuning in to the best women's boxing show, period. Bye, guys.